So guys, we are back with another video and back down the moat. Now I'm excited about this session. I came down to do that little recce before and I had that lovely mirror, but then I had a little bit of a bee in my bonnet. I had a little bit of an itch that I had to scratch, and I didn't really want to come down until I scratched it. Ollie Davies is one of my favourite anglers, and I think it's because of his stalking approach, his up close and personal approach. He loves catching them on his terms, in the edge, half a wrap, watching the bites, you know, that sort of thing. Now, I've followed him for a long time, and all the stuff that he puts out on video, or on YouTube, have been really exciting. And for a while now, he's been using this pole and sticking baits where you can't usually stick baits. And I never ever thought that it would be something that I need to incorporate into my own fishing. But just recently, getting back on the moat, just looking at a few spots, and I can see our pole just where I'm casting up to a far bank bush, overhanging tree, canopy, and I'm just clipping it on the way in, and I'm fishing just on the edge of it. With a pole, I could stick it right underneath, right in their front door, and onto their dinner table. So I hatched a plan. I've looked into it, and the bushwhacker from Nash is so hard to get. Nobody's got them in stock at the moment, and those that are selling them second hand are asking top dollar, like ridiculous money for them. But the impatient person that I am, I had to have one. So I've had a look around, done a bit of research, and I found a company called All Things 3D, who trade on eBay, and they do a version of the bait and pole with parallel poles, so you can stick as many as you want together. So I had to have one. I had to have one now. So I got one. Now, the thing that I was worried about was the length. I got 15 metres, and I thought maybe that's not going to be long enough for most of the spots that are on here. So I then went and got another 10 metres, so I got 25. With the handle, it actually works out that I've got 26 metres. And what I wanted to do was come down and at least put it out, the pole, and just see what it felt like. I've never done it before, and I know that if there's a bit of a crosswind, they can be a bit snaky and hard to straighten up, and trying to get them to go exactly where you want them to go can be a bit of a pain. So I've arrived, I've got an afternoon off work, so I've come down to the moat early, and I've got the pole down and put it together and started putting a few sections together and shipped it out. And I did a little half ship out, and the cup filled with water, and I just didn't do it very well. So I pulled it back in again, and I was putting 2 metre sections together as I was shipping it out. So what I did the second time round was put 4 metre sections together, and that was much better. It just went out much straighter, and there was less fiddling, less faffing around. And I actually got out to the spot with 20 metres, so I had 6 metres to spare, which I'm really chuffed about. And I didn't waste it, so I went out with a cup full of bait and I put it on the spot, so I've baited it up for later. So the plan now is I've baited up that spot, and I know that 20 metres is going to get me out onto the spot, and I'm going to leave that now and let them have a little bit of a munch, because I've literally put it right in the larder. So I'm going to go for a bit of a drive now and have a little walk around some of the other spots on the moat, just see if I can spot any fish. It looks like the pads are just starting to come up, just under the surface. There are some small pads coming up, so it's all starting to happen. And I have got the afternoon. It's about 2:30 now, so I've got the afternoon and the evening to fish. So I'm going to stop waffling now. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background as to what I'm doing and why I'm excited about this session, because it's the first time trying this method of fishing. And I'm quite excited by it. I know that Ollie gets really quick bites when he puts the bait where the carp don't expect you to put them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll be the case, and we can emulate that. But I'm going to go for a drive now and have a little look, and I will get back to you once we find something. So I've had a good walk around, and I haven't found much to go on, to be honest. Now there is that spot that I tested out earlier. I tested the pole and put a little bit of bait in, but I'm happy to leave that for later. At the moment I've stopped at a spot just past the bridge, lovely little bit of jungle over on the far bank, a few overhangs where any other time you wouldn't be able to cast underneath them. and I can see 2 spots that are absolutely screaming out for a pole. So I think this would be a really good area to have my first go. So I think I'm going to set up here and at least give it a go for an hour. I think with this style of fishing it's a case of it'll happen quite quickly or it won't happen. And then I can move on. I think I'll get another 2 out. Just in case. So at the moment I'm just trying to fathom out how much pole I'm going to need. Just to tip over that way. Just want to see how much pole is required. See what this one does for us. Okay, so I think we're going to need some more. That's deceiving, that's further than I thought it was. But yeah, what an edge that is to drop that underneath there like that. I'm going to go one more on in the green handle. I don't think that'll be enough. That's pretty spot on, that is. Okay. Okay. Rig. And freebies are in there. Okay. There we go. There it goes, first try. Wish me luck. Got mud all over the end of my pole. Not the best start. Come on. Right, okay. Get in there. That's it. And that is it, we are set. So there you go, that was my first attempt at putting a bait out with the pole. Don't think it was too bad, to be honest. Got it out there where I wanted it, underneath the overhanging tree. Dropped it down with a handful of bait round it. Tightened up, put the bobbin on. Just have to hope that someone's home now. I'm fishing fairly locked up. It's not locked up, they can't drag the rod in. But there's very little clutch there. And I'm literally sat over it. So slightest little beep or nod on the rod tip and I think I'm going to hit it. And not mess about with it. It feels like when you've made boilies yourself and you catch your first carp on the boilie that you've made, or you've made a float and it's the first carp you caught on your homemade float. I didn't make the pole, but it's the first time I've tried this method of fishing, so I think the first fish that I'll catch on it is going to be quite a special fish. Negligible of what fish it is, although bream can do one. So, a quick update. Probably had that rod out there for about 45 minutes now. And we've had no activity. Now, looking at it and staring at it, like I have been doing for the last 45 minutes, it looks as though if it was about 1.5 meters to the right, underneath a little canopy, it might just be a little bit closer to the main snag ball where the fish are probably held up. Where I am at the moment, it's probably a little bit far away, and then it would mean him coming out and having a little bit of a patrol. Whereas about 1.5 meters to the right and underneath the canopy, I think it's more likely to be closer to the fish. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. I'm not going to sit here any longer. I'm going to reposition it, give it another half an hour in that position, and then if nothing happens after that, I think then I am going to go up to that first spot that I went to where I baited up earlier, because I had a fish there when I was here before, and the guy just to the swim to the right, he caught a fish as well, so I know there's a few fish up there. So I'm just going to reposition this and then give it about another half an hour. So it's out there on this new spot and I'm really happy with it. Within a couple of minutes I had a single drop back bleep, which is promising. Just got a feeling that I'm a bit closer to the fish now. If the fish are in those snags, which I can't be sure, but I've got a good feeling they are, I'm a little bit closer to them now. I don't want to get too close so that I've got no chance of landing them. I'm fishing close enough that they can sniff the bait, but far enough away that I'm sat over the rod, I've got the clutch tight and I can steer them away. I'm not going to go losing fish, fingers crossed. But I think what I want to do on the next one, whether it's here, if I have another drop, or at the other spot, I want to have a go at, just as I'm going to drop it, make contact with the lead, and then as I drop it, feel it down, feel the donk, or not. I think that's quite key. I think because I'm only dropping it, because it's not landing, it's not got the trajectory of a cast, so it's not going in and plummeting into the water. It's literally dropping from the cup and dropping 2 or 3 foot So it's not going to be going down with a lot of force. But at the same time, it'd still be nice to feel it down and feel what I'm fishing over. So I've been out there for about 30 or 40 minutes and nothing's happened. I've seen a few pinprick bubbles just over that way a bit, which looked like it might have even been a crucian or a tench. Don't think it was a carp. But they're either not in the area or they're not up for it. Or it hasn't landed right. It's been very quiet. I haven't seen much fizzing, fish rolling. No signs whatsoever. It was just one of those gut feelings. No snags, maybe they're stuck in there. Get one right in there and we can get a result. But it's not been the case. So I think I'm going to wind in, get packed up and get myself back up to the first spot that I baited earlier. And I can have a little snack as well because I've left them in the car. So I was going to bugger off to another spot, but when I wound in, I saw a branch move, which tells me that the rig was actually caught up. I've got a feeling that I saw some bubbles coming up while I was sat here watching, and I got a feeling that I would have had a bite if my rig was down on the bottom. But I don't think it was. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to angle this up like that this time, that GoPro, so I can watch the rig fall. And also, I'm going to have a go at feeling the lid down as well. Oh, come on. Okay. I'm not sure how successful this is going to be, but we'll have a go. Oh, I put the wrong section on. Oh, dumbass. So I have to take that handle out and then put that on last. That's alright, it's because I'm not watching what's going on behind me. But this is an amazing piece of kit. It's not the market leader brand, but it serves a purpose for what I need. This is where it starts to go a little bit haywire. That's okay. That's in. And then last piece. This green handle. No, I'm not going to go quite so far this time. I'm actually going to go that far. Now what I'm going to do, I want to tighten up to it. And that definitely went down on the bottom. So it's back out again and I'm happy. I had the GoPro angled upwards so that when it dropped down, I had more of an acute angle looking down and I actually physically saw the rig fall down. So so I'm much happier that I'm actually fishing this time. So they've had a mouthful of bait without any rig down there. Now there is a rig down there. So fingers crossed, like I say, I think now they've had a mouthful. I've seen a few bubbles come up before when I wasn't fishing effectively. So I think there was fish down there feeding on the pouch, on the scoop full of bait that I put down. And now we're fishing. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in about sort of like, 15, 20 minutes or so. If I give it half an hour and I still haven't had a bite, I think it will be time to up sticks and move on then. I had the pole in the bag and everything, I was ready to go. And when I wound the rod in, I just had my eye on the spot and there was one twig that just flicked, and I felt the lead fall down. So I've got a good feeling it was hung up and not fishing, but it is now. So I've got a rod set up. I'm just getting the sections of pole out now. 20 metres it was over there, so I need 6 lots of 3 and a 2. And I am going to fish with 2 rods here. I'm going to fish with one over about where that duck is, and I'm going to have one along the far bank under the tree. So 2 rods that they're going to be fishing fairly close together. Just want to maximise my chances over there, because the session's been a little bit slow to start with. Probably been here for the best part of probably over 4 hours now. Obviously trial and error with this pole, never done it before, really enjoying using it, but nice to catch something. Don't pull it. Wow, that didn't take too long. Let's hope we can get it in. It's not a big fish, but it's a carp, I think. Yeah, it's a carp. That will do. That will do. First fish on the pole. Let's just hope we can get it in the net. Just had to drop back on the other rod as well. Let's get this in the net if we can. That looks nice. Looks like a common. Good old cricket bat. Oh, come on, I can't get... It's this bank behind me. Come on. That's it, it's flopped over the cord. Oh. First one. And there we have it. First one on the moat, on the pole. Proper chuff with that. That's a lovely old dark one. Yeah, that's the ones we come for. Absolute stunner. What a peach. Proper chuff. Gonna get her back and get the rod back out. Still not even dark yet. So that's it, guys. We're loaded up, back in the car and ready for the off. I think that was a really successful session, to be honest. First time using the pole. It was a little bit awkward to get used to at first, but once we'd shipped it out a few times, I found it quite easy after that, and definitely gives you an edge, I think, getting underneath them nooks and crannies. That got me that fish at the end as well. Gorgeous common, absolutely beautiful common. Blown away by that fish. I think I might be able to get out fishing tomorrow evening Not sure where I'm going to go yet, but I'll bring the camera along and I'll show you. But thanks for watching. Tight lines, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.